Okay, so when you were a child, what age did you consider to be old?
30.
And now, what age do you consider to be old?
85.
What do you do for work?
I'm a nurse, licensed practical nurse.
Okay, and did you always want to be a practical nurse, or did you want to be something else when you were younger?
I was involved in orchestra and I frequented nursing homes and hospitals playing in musical groups, so I was very comfortable in that kind of atmosphere. So I really wanted to look into being a candy striper, and that didn't work out. And then I had the opportunity years later where my husband said he'd support me going to school.
Oh, that's good.
So I held out for a long time.
All right. And how have you found satisfaction and success in your career now?
Being in nursing management, I think I've spent 20 years and I can't go any further unless I further my education as an RN.
Okay, but you're in school now. So what made you decide to go back to school at your age, and were you intimidated?
Sure. At my age, yes, I was. And it's because I need to further my education as far as being an RN in the line of work that I'm in, because it's just going to further my career and advancement as far as even for financially as well.
Okay, and what advice would you give to young adults thinking about or just starting out in college now?
They need to pursue their dreams and then not stop and say, well, I'm going to take a break and then I'll come back and go to it later.
How many children do you have?
9.
What was it like when your children were young, and in what ways has your life changed as they've grown up?
A lot more time for yourself.
Okay, and what advice do you have about launching children into responsible, happy adults?
Letting them have some responsibility and teaching them what the morals of your own unity in your own family to carry out with them, to be able to stand behind what they believe in, because it's a very hard world out there if you don't have nothing to fall back on.
Have you ever had to establish a new role in your family, like from mother to
sole income person?
Yeah, I guess that would be a new role.
Yes, when we moved down to Florida, we ended up switching roles. My husband worked for a while, but then taking care of my mother, we ended up having to switch roles because I ended up making the more money, and so it was basically he took over the home front, and I ended up bringing in carrying the financial front.
Okay. And you were taking care of your mother, so she was taking care of you when you were a child, and you were taking care of her when she was older. Would you say that was really difficult, and what was dramatic about it?
The hardest part, I think, was having the family around other brothers and sisters and not having their involvement, even though, because you got stressed out, with your whole family carrying the burden of it, and even if they could even just come over and lend some time, not specifically give medical care, but just time away so we could have a little bit of a respite services.
Yeah. Sounds like okay.
And then it was a very joyful time, though. I think we talked about it for a long while too, and looking back now, I don't think we would have traded it because the kids got so much more enjoyment and being able to fall back on that memory.
Okay, and as you've gotten older, have you noticed any physical challenges of middle age?
Yeah, you don't have a lot more stamina like you used to do, especially when you have things happen to you, like breaking some bones, you start knowing a little bit more of your limitations, even though you try to keep up.
How did you adjust to them or deal with them?
You try to push a little further, I think, for your to get back to where your other norm was before.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you know might not be happening, but you at least work a little harder towards that.
And how do you stay physically healthy and adjust to any limitations that you have as you age?
Being a nurse, you try to look at all the things health-wise that could affect you, and sometimes you have mixed feelings about that because you know the inevitable, as far as medical problems, and you just try to maintain the healthiest balance that you can between the two.
Do you do any diet or exercising?
I don't do much exercise.
You ride your bike sometimes.
Yeah, I have a bicycle and I do swim, try to swim.
Yeah, I swim a lot.
And try to get in there and not stand still, but at least I'm very active with some of the grandchildren and try to get out there and play ball, and even though you're going to ache later.
And you drink a lot of water.
Yes, I push a lot of water. I try to take all my vitamins and monitor different health factors. That's all you can do.
Okay. And are you still friends with the same people you were friends with when you were a young adult?
Other than my family, probably not. Friends of early young adulthood because of the probably divorce in the first marriage. I know he's kept friends with a lot of the previous people, but your second husband, we're still friends from 30 years ago.
And what advice would you give to young people about making and maintaining friendships?
Sometimes it's better to let go because people do change. Sometimes they're holding you back, and now it's better to keep positive people around you. And most positive influences your life will carry you further than keeping on.
Yeah, all the negatives. Yeah. Some friends aren't worth keeping. Okay, and how have you found new companionship and friendships as you aged? Through work, probably.
Through work. And through same kind of standards that you would set for yourself. Sometimes age it's not a factor. It could be younger, it could be a lot older. Because there's a lot of difference, I'm telling you. Especially in the profession I'm in, you have to maintain a very fair integrity level, and sometimes it's hard not to associate with some of the other people.
Yeah. And do you think having an active social life is important when you're older?
No, not so much.
No? Okay. How do you enjoy your free time?
Spending time with family. Everybody knows at work, family is very important to me. Because all else fails, your family's going to be there to support you. My grandkids are very
They're here all the time.
much a part of my life.
And what was the happiest moment in your life that you can remember? When she had Ashley.
1980.
How many years back are we talking?
27 years. 20.
The happiest time. I don't know, it's very difficult.
We got married.
We got married.
We had our first car. We had our first kid.
I think seeing my son come back from overseas.
Yeah, Ryan. Seeing Ryan come back from overseas. That'd be pretty happy.
That was probably one of the hardest things I did in my life.
Oh, yeah. And what advice can you give to the younger generation about being happy with their lives?
In a relationship, it's important to sit there and be bendable, but don't. I've told all my girls and all my boys too. Sometimes the boys are fault to that because they let the girls have more of their way. But I raised my boys that way. But I also raised the girls saying, "Don't take no shit and just do what you want to do." And it's kind of a fair thing, and it's 50-50 normally. Like 60-40. You have to have somebody giving most all the time.
So give and take and just be
Mhm.
fair.
Yeah.
And what would you like younger people, to know about the older population that they might not already know?
And we're not old and done with. We still have sexual feelings, and we're not old and shriveled up, and we still think just like we're just as young as you are.
You're only as old as you feel.
That's exactly right.